crave that cigarette the minute I want to begin talking. I'm going to share a little secret with you. Many authors have done it. Decades ago, a famous author who was a fan of my work, scientific work, told me how it's really done. He wanted me to write one of the 4 sections of a book, and I can't find my freaking lighter. And if I told you who the other people were, you wouldn't believe me. They just wanted a cannabinoid expert to join in on a group of very famous people. And he said, all you really have to do is, at the right time, put in your $5,000. This wasn't a scam. This was real. It was somebody who's an insider telling me how you get to, this is what this video will be titled, how to get on the New York Times bestseller list and at least make it within the top 10, which will increase your sales automatically. People, I'm sorry, that's driving me shit crazy. It's simple. You use Vanity Press. You find a publisher, you make a deal with them, and tell them you need, on the first run, you need 20,000 paperbacks. Now, at this time, 20 some odd years later, the cost may be a little bit higher, but you need 20,000 paperback copies of the book, and you tell them off the record that you guarantee purchase of them, and then you ship them on consignment to 1 or 2, or more booksellers who will be more than glad to accept free books and put them on their shelves, because you tell them it's, promotional, pure profit for you. And that's all it takes to get on the New York Times bestseller list, is to actually buy your own book. 20,000 copies, paperback, will get you in 1 week, will get you on the New York Times bestseller list. That's the secret. I'm just amazed at those people who don't know how to work the system. It's probably now gone up to more, but if you got maybe 40,000 bucks, because it probably costs $2 wholesale for those paperbacks. Now, believe it or not, depends on how fancy you go, but 20 grand a couple decades ago, New York Times bestseller list, because all they go by is sales. They're not really, and you're the first purchaser. It shows. It's all you need to report is they report sales of 20,000. So that's the secret. You can critique it and give me all sorts of jazz, but I really told them that no, especially I didn't approve of the other people, because one of them was kind of two of them were total weirdos. The guy that was communicating with me in the deal, he is okay. But at least I learned how so many people write crap and get on the New York Times bestseller list. That creates an instance there to go to. That's actually where you want to target is. You want to target like New York City, big cities, and go ahead and ship them on consignment, free. Tell them these are promotional copies, more to follow. You get 100% of sale price, whatever you want to sell them for. And you mark them, $2.99. Well, now you have to go $4.99 to $5.99 to be believable. Something like that. $7.99. He marks them down to $3 or $4, and that confirms. But that's how you make the New York Times bestseller list. I'll tell you this much. I'll give you a couple clues. One of them was a real famous Texan phony psychologist, kind of bald-headed like me. And the other guy was a guy who spent an inordinate amount of time talking about the quantity and qualities of your bowel movements. Does that give you a little hint? This was a long time ago. They were very famous then. That's how you make the New York Times bestseller list. Buy your own book, dummies. 20,000 copies. Paperback, not that hard to do.